if you just listen to the SEC coaches like Saban and Kirby Smart and Eli Drinkwitz and these guys at the SEC spring meetings, if you just listen to those guys, you would think that college football is in dire straits. I forgot when the whole sport was teetering on the brink of complete destruction. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm watching games with higher ratings than ever. I'm watching compelling matchups. You've got intrigue. The way these coaches talk, it's like if we don't act right now, all of a sudden, college football that we know and love is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. Like, this is the worst system we've ever had. Newsflash, it's not.
Yeah.
The young men and women in college sports, they're getting paid now.
Right.
They can transfer if they want to once without a penalty. It's not exactly a free-for-all, even though it feels like it a little bit. And they got a little bit more power, and the coaches are losing their mind. They can't stand it. Find me the fan. The fan, not the coach who's making millions, not the athletic director who's making millions. Find me the fan who really has a problem with college football right now. I bet they don't exist.
Probably not, but this is not what's going on there. This is, they're all, who do they all look up to? Who's the godfather of this group? Nick Saban.
Yeah.
What is Nick Saban's number one play in his playbook? Whine about everything and then secretly do it behind the scenes.
Sure.
So I think they're being more utilitarian. I think they're all, for them, okay, I understand what you're saying about the state of college football, but every one of them is doing what's best for them, right? Can you understand where they're coming from at least? This is bad for them. This is all not good for the SEC coaches.
I thought this was supposed to be about the student athletes. I thought this was supposed to be about the players. It's not supposed to be about the coaches. The coaches will always adjust. They will.
But can the SEC coaches adjust to this? I don't think they can.
They're a bunch of whiners, and
they're whining, but they're for a purpose.
Okay, but is it because the sport is really hurting? Like, that's my question. Okay, it's different. Change is hard for all of us.
Yeah.
I get that. No one wants to give up any power. I understand it.
Right.
But is the sport suffering? See, like, that's where this sky is falling kind of rhetoric just doesn't match the reality.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Will the SEC maintain its hold on power over the next 10 years?
They're only going to get more.
Well, I think less.
Okay, explain why.
Well, NIL and transfer portal. So if you're a second stringer at Georgia, you need to play to get your NIL money. So you're going to leave, and then you're going to get TCUs in the Final Four.
Okay, but Georgia was still the champion. They beat the doors off of TCU.
For right now, but that's not going to... Kirby is talking all cocky. He's going to be Saban in 3 years. Georgia's going to lose. The old world order has been destroyed. So that's what these coaches are lamenting. Of course they're not interested in the overall college football. They're interested in... I think the SEC is going to lose more power because the transfer portal... I mean, we've seen it. Deion Sanders all of a sudden threw a lightning bolt at the SEC, said, hey, I'm going to buy players over here. So they have this great system going, and it's going away. So like Nick Saban, they're whining about it, right? But I'm not defending them.
Do you think college football is broken? Like, do you have a problem with the system now? Yes, a bit of the Wild West with NIL, but do you have a problem with it?
I do.
Okay, what's the problem?
But it's different from what the coaches are saying.
Okay, what's your problem?
I watch a game. And this has killed me. There's a Dr. Pepper ad followed by a Geico ad, followed by a Microsoft ad, followed by a Google ad.
Right.
Those are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, to the network.
To the schools.
And to the networks, though, the TV networks. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, who signed these massive deals? So much more of that should be going to the players. I think the sport's totally broken. I don't think the coaches should be getting paid so much. I think more money should be going to players. I think they should just... I think the players are way undervalued because they are providing this incredible TV program that, I know they're getting NIL money, but there should be even more money coming towards them. Don't you ever think that when you're watching the college football championship, who's getting this $1 billion from this Google ad?
Listen, I think about that with the college athletes. I think about that when I watch LeBron James. I mean, you could say everyone could be underpaid, these stars.
But at least he's a billionaire.
No, I get it. But if there was not a salary cap and he was in his prime, he would not be able, he can max out. Steph Curry can make $60 million, but that's all he can make. What's Steph Curry really worth? Probably more than that. That's not the part of it that bothers me.
You don't think they should be getting paid even more?
Oh, I think the college kids should be getting paid even more. The college athletes, I got to stop calling them kids. The college athletes should be paid more, but they're getting paid something, and the best players generally are getting paid the most, which is like how the world works. So I don't have as much of a problem with that. And to me, it has not, like, I don't feel like college football is, the Titanic heading towards this iceberg. To me, it's going to always ebb and flow and change, and the product is still very good. I like a little bit of parity. And guess what? When this goes to 12 teams with the college football playoff, you're going to get even a couple more kind of, I don't want to say random teams, but you're going to get a little bit more of a representation. You're also going to get more SEC schools in.
I agree with that. You're going to, first of all, I think other conferences are going to do much better in the 12. And I think transfer portal is going to hurt the SEC. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You already see Alabama doesn't have the depth that they used to have because all their guys, if you're not playing, you're leaving.
Right.
I think you're being naive about how radical the change is going on right now. And I'm not saying the coaches are right. I think you're going to have, I think this can't last like this. This NIL is a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem because you're going to have, Saban's right. I mean, it's going to be an NFL. You have to have a pro league. You're going to have a union. You're going to have a salary cap. You're going to have a fair schedule. Like, this is just the beginning. I understand what you're saying. No, of course college football is not broken, but guess what? It's about to change radically. But you can't start with NIL and then not expect it to go full pro. How is it? You're just being half.
You're half.
You're half.
You're half. You're only giving the endorsement deal without giving any of the salary, if you will.
Right. And also, too, just like you're seeing what the coaches are whining about, and I agree, they're totally whining.
Oh, my gosh. It's
just the beginning. Like this scheduling thing, you're going to have a much more pro-like college football in 10 years.
Okay, let's hear from Saban. This is not like the most egregious, but here's what Saban is saying should happen.
Unionize it, make it like the NFL. I mean, if it's going to be the same for everyone, I think that's better than what we have now. Everything they do in the NFL is to create what? Parity. So, and if they could have everybody going into the 17th week of the season at 8-8, that would be like a dream for the NFL.
Okay, he's right about that, right? The parity and the, unionizing and all of the things that the NFL has does help to create parity. Another thing that helps create parity in the NFL and the NBA is the draft. The college is never going to have that. It's going to be you can sign with whoever. So you're never going to get this real parity that you want because the best players are always going to sign with a few different teams.
Well, what if there's a salary cap where best players will chase the money, so therefore can spread out the number of teams?
Okay, but now you're really talking about like hitting the destruct button on college football and college sports.
I think it's happening. I think Deion hit that destruct button.
Okay, but it's still, so Deion Sanders, though, is still like a one-of-one person.
No.
He's one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL and one of the greatest personalities in the history of the NFL. He's got not just the money from Colorado, which I don't even know how much money Colorado even has. It's a cult of personality as well with Deion, where people and players want to go there because they think he'll get me ready for the NFL.
I don't agree with that. I think players will always chase money. I think if you make it an open marketplace and Miami Hurricanes say we're going to outspend everyone.
They are. They just made the Final Four.
Right. Well, you're right. They're trying in football. I think eventually that's going to result in a championship. I mean, Deion's great, and he is a cult of personality, but if the money is more at another school, they're going to go there. They just think, people right now think that there's money where Deion is.
Yeah, see, it's funny because don't you remember when Deion took the job at Colorado? Even he said, like, they still need to figure out how they were going to pay Deion, let alone pay these 70-plus guys who have transferred.
Well, yeah, but then Deion attracts some money, right? Like, sponsors be like, Deion's there, so that does give him an advantage. But I think overall, eventually the market will make this all work, right? So it's all going to be pro. And the salary cap is going to fix that parity. And you know why Saban thinks he can do this, by the way? First of all, I think he's lying. But he thinks, I can hire a better coaching staff than anyone and give me the same team and I will beat everybody else. I don't think that's true.
He could hire the best coaching staff right now. That's not part of the salary
cap. Right, but he's losing all his players to Texas A&M and other places right now where he never had that problem before.
I mean, losing all of his players. He had the Heisman Trophy winner 2 years ago. He, is still top 2 in odds to win the title. Who are all these players he's losing?
Well, he lost that defensive end to A&M and it freaked him out.
Okay, he lost one guy. Oh, my goodness.
Apparently, this guy is not, he's like that character in Fast Times at Ridgemont High who just destroyed the entire game. Yeah. What's his name? Highwater or something? Anyway, it
was Forrest Whitaker was the actor.
But what do you think, real quick before we take a call?
Yeah.
Do you agree, so you disagree with Saban about the NFL model, or do you agree with that?
I think we have a long way to go before we're getting there.
Why?
To get to the NFL model. Because, first of all, maybe the students can unionize or the athletes can unionize. That would be one thing. You don't even have a uniform NIL policy in this country. It's all state by state by state. Are you really going to be able to get all Division I college football on the same page about a salary structure?
I mean, all you need is the 5 conferences and maybe 4 conferences. So you have 4 conferences. Is that hard for 4 conference commissioners to get together and create a league?
I mean, they can barely decide. They can't agree on anything.
That's true.